Well, hello. I thought I turned that on properly. Let's make it the big screen here really quickly. Welcome in everybody to what is in my hair? What is that? Snow? Anyway, welcome into the dream stream. I see you all there in the chat, and I'll get to that in just a minute. But we are live just here on the YouTube side. I'll be going live on Kick. As well as my gaming channel here on YouTube around 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, the only time, the real time, with a group of the friends as we're going to be playing Murky Divers, bringing back the we're gonna attempt. If you don't know the lore and the craziness, we're gonna attempt to be better at this game. So you're not going to want to miss it. We're going to have a whole gaggle of people there. It's going to be awesome. But DL here early, throwing everything but the kitchen sink at us. Thank you so much. I do have the link to my gaming channel if you haven't subscribed in the top section of the chat, and then the pinned comment, I have the link to my shirt, my new shirt, Make Art, Not Content. Here we go. So, if you are interested in a shirt like that, it comes in black and this nice heather gray. Yes, actually, I have a picture of the artwork, much clearer, right here, hand drawn by me. Make art, not content. And let me go really quickly. I see that Jonathan Reyes is here. Logical Spark. I know a lot of people are streaming at the moment, so I'm grateful for the people that are here, and probably other people are going to come in. God goes by Central Standard. I disagree strongly disagree, but it is the brush hour, so we don't have a lot of time because we'll have to get prepared for the gaming stream that's going to be coming up later. But we're bringing back the book. Now, technically, I'm not going to be drawing in the book today. For those that know, we're going to go over the lore of this all eventually. I want to bring back these characters and bring them to life. We are going to be doing digital artwork this evening because I would like to redraw a character that I'm not totally thrilled with how I did it originally, and then I did try to do it digitally, and he's just not quite as menacing. And I think I've grown a lot in my digital whatever. I think I've grown a lot in my capabilities, my digital art capabilities. So I'd like to make him a little more sinister, a little more meddlesome. But anywho, so we're going to go into that, but we have something special tonight as well, because it's not just going to be me. It's going to be me and some guests. Smooth DJ is here.
Hello.
He is one of the guests. And of course, invited last minute is here on time, as opposed to our other guests. And I'll just leave the mystery that is who that could possibly be.
I wonder who that could be.
Yeah, wonder who that could.
Who could that be?
Who could that be? Says, hey, Smooth. So, I don't know that I have the layout for this. Here we go. Or maybe I do. Normally I have it like this, but that would get rid of
I like that mystery forest you got going on there in the background.
I know. It's so fun. I'm trying to see what's the best layout for this.
Actually, I actually like it. It's pretty nice.
It's the best I got for this, because if whenever our mystery guest appears, I have to have time. But yeah, I like the forest in the background, because for most people that know, I like to draw fantasy creatures and the whatnot. And really quickly, so we've got our book here, and I'm going to get rid of this real quick. Go here. And originally, the character that I drew, because I am doing a little storybook with these characters. For those that are OG members of the channel, they will remember that we drew all kinds of characters together, and you guys helped me make the story. This is Keffin, one of the fan favorites there, one of my personal favorites. And then here was the evil bad guy person that we attempted to create right there.
Oh, wow.
Okay. So he is, what's his name? What did we come up with? Hang on, I'll read the book here. It's a massive book, by the way. If you don't see, it's a little bit of a struggle.
A little huge, you say.
We named there was apparently two different names that we couldn't quite settle on was Mazdor or Solomon. So we might have to work
Solomon
on
sounds
it.
like a cool name.
Yeah, I thought Solomon sounded like a really cool name for a bad guy because he is based off of one of our other fan favorites, one of my personal favorites, Carl, the Chiropanthea. So he is a mix between a bat, a lion, and a cricket because
Mhm.
it totally makes sense. Actually, if I
So a
go back,
chimera of sorts.
well, that's why we're going with Chiropanthea. There's a lot of Latin in the name that mixes that up. Actually, if I bring, or whoops, wrong one. Back here, I can show everybody the progress they've made. So this is Carl.
Mhm.
We did him digitally, and for those that don't know, we've got Guts in the background. So the lore between this character is that the male, the male
Take a breath.
Chiropantheas. That's what it was. It's
Mhm.
like, with these made up names, you kind of have to be like, it's been a while. With these male species, like they die if they do not mate within a certain time frame. But
So like a praying mantis, almost.
I don't know. We just made it up as we went, and so I didn't realize that was how it was for praying mantis.
I think that's how it is for praying mantis, if I'm
So
not mistaken. Correct
Smooth
me if I'm wrong,
bringing
chat.
the
Correct me if
real
I'm wrong.
world science into it, and I mean that's great because it's like the fantasy. You just kind of twist reality, and then that's what you get. So it's
Correct.
like if Chiropantheas, the male ones, if they don't mate within a certain time frame, they die. The one thing that can help them because the females are an elusive creature; they're very rare. So Carl here has a situation that this is not actually his tail behind him. This is guts. He has a
Mhm.
parasitic tail that he
Mhm.
can prolong the lifespan of a male chiropanthea, but only for a short period of time. So our story kind
Hmm.
of we've been working on it. This has been an off and on kind of situation with this story. So Guts
Hmm.
also there's like this cerebral link as well because he taps into the spinal column and so he can Guts kind of has an attitude and Carl does not like him. He does not like the fact that he has to rely on this persnickety tail in order for him to exist. So the adventure of Carl and Guts is that they need to find Mrs. Carl.
Mhm.
That was kind of how it originally was starting with that. And then eventually we created this character over here. This is Dastian. He is a Volan, an
Mhm.
abandoned Volan. He's not a fairy. Don't call him a fairy. That's offensive.
He reminds me of, I don't know if like some of the Studio Ghibli stuff, right?
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
reminds me a little bit of this based on a Studio Ghibli game, but he reminds me a bit of Oliver from the game Nino Kuni.
I don't know that.
It's a game where a boy gets loses his mother, and he starts crying, and the tears awaken like a little puppet,
Oh.
and then he goes to a magical world where there's these creatures called familiars, and he goes on an adventure to defeat the White Witch that's enslaving the other country that he's going to, like a fantasy world. And it the character design reminds me of
Oh,
that a little
okay.
bit.
I can't remember. I was actually trying to go for a little bit of a Tom Sawyer. Like if Tom
I can
Sawyer
see that,
fell
yeah.
fell into a fantasy book, then we would have little Tom right here. And Galford's dog says just like human males. Yeah, human males they tend to whittle off too if they don't find a woman to hang out with for their time.
Well, that's called male loneliness, I think.
When what is it they say that there's women tend to live longer than men anyway, so men are like, you know what, I got to get me a woman because I don't got much time. So we
That's
were
the
into
irony about it,
I
yeah.
know, right? And so we were on this quest to like figure out Dastian's story. I've got a lot of it figured out. It's been a while since we've been in the book, so I'm going to share that. And we've got a whole bunch of other characters that you can see here. And I did attempt to draw our Solomon character in a challenge that my subscribers gave to me of Snow White, but in my style. This was back when the new Disney Snow White was coming out. And
Oh,
so
geez.
I don't have seven dwarves, but I do have six-ish creatures. So we've got little baby Carl and Guts. Then
Hmm.
over here we've got little Keffin, and then we have Fredward Frisk over here. We
Fredward.
Snow White. Oh, he's a personal favorite of mine. Snow White, but
Is a funny name, though. I
I
have
know.
to say.
Well, Jonathan Reyes came up with that one. So a lot of these names and character lore actually are inspired or created by the chat, which is super cool. And then we've got Donker. Don't make fun of him because he is a veteran. He's a war hero. He deserves our respect. And then over here we have our little Quackolin. I, at the moment, for some reason, am forgetting what his name is. Let me consult the book. uh, Good thing I have this over here. I didn't get around to
So,
creating Horatio. He's right here. He's a Luchmoth. He's a mix
mhm.
between a moth and an anteater.
Lochmoff sounds like something Welsh.
It does,
Almost,
doesn't it? And
right?
I like that, you know. Let's see. Where is our little
And
friend?
whenever you say guts, I always have to think of the manga Berserk, because that's what the protagonist is called in that manga.
Is
Because
it?
yeah, that's why I always have to think of, like, I mean, Guts the swordsman. That's where my brain immediately wanders off to because of the manga. It's so weird.
Well, this is Guts Gutts. Is it? Does yours have a double
Uh,
T?
it's spelled like the word guts, so like
Oh, okay.
Guts.
Oh, okay. Well, this one's the original because it's an extra T, don't you know?
Yes.
This here is Gus, the Quackolin. So he's a
Oh,
mix between a platypus and a pangolin and a crocodile.
I didn't know this, that platypus are apparently poisonous. Did you know
Yes, that
that?
they have. Yeah.
I
I
thought,
know
like,
it.
man, they look so cute, and then I read that they were poisonous. I was like, okay, I knocked them down by 20% on the cuteness scale, just because they're poisonous.
I know, but they're still the modern day Pokemon because they are such a bundle of
They're like
confusion.
poisonous Psyducks in a sense.
Exactly. They really are like the real world Psyduck. So
Yep.
Solomon here, if we're gonna stay with that name, it's pending. I did him in a quick rush. He's okay, it fits it, but it's not really what I'm happy with. So today, if I get my reference, there
Mhm.
we go. Oops. That is what we're aiming for today. So the
Hmm.
story, so like I was saying, the evil guy is an evil version of Carl, which technically Carl is not a friendly creature, the Chiropanthea. The story is that because there are no humans in this story, and it's like,
Mhm.
but why? And so humans are a species, are an ancient species that died off.
Oh.
And so this is a world where there will be like leftover buildings and leftover technology that no longer works, and there will be the legends and the stories of how humans once lived, right? And so our
Mhm.
evil character here becomes obsessed with humans and what he
Mhm.
thinks they must have been like powerful beings, powerful godlike creatures to be able to create the buildings and everything that was around them. And you know
Mhm.
how a lot of times humans tend to lift up magic and we wish we were wizards and stuff. This is
Mhm.
going to be the reverse, where magical creatures, which, well, let me put it this way, fantasy creatures, because he doesn't really have a power, but fantasy creatures wish they were humans.
Mhm.
And so he becomes obsessed with becoming human, that he distorts his body. This is just a weird reference that I found that or that I have to try to mimic that. So you can see he kind of looks like a hairless Carl in to some degree. So that is going to he's going to be the evil person. I haven't figured out every aspect of the story, but that's kind of a good beginnings of it, where
He
he wants to be human, so he
mhm.
figures out some kind of technology to work through
He
that.
reminds me of a how I envisioned what a Wendigo looks like when I was a kid.
I don't That's a cryptid, isn't it?
Uh, Something like that, yeah.
I'm not
And
really sure what a cryptid is, but I've heard of them. They're like scary creatures, right?
they're very scary creatures. And also, yes, don't Berserk is a very dark story. It is the inspiration for a lot of dark fantasy that is being put into media these days,
I heard of it, but
and
I
it's very
like,
depressing.
yeah, so like who wants that? Nobody wants that. Um
mind
so
you, mind you, the protagonist has a sword that's literally like an oxymoron. It's called I think it was the deep. We need to look up what the sword's name is again, but it has like a Freudian connotation to it.
Oh.
Let me
Oh
see.
my. A cryptid is like Bigfoot or Mothman. Well,
Hmm.
but what's the difference between Bigfoot and the Wendigo?
Hmm.
No, I mean,
I honestly
obviously
don't know.
obviously I know they're not the same creature, but as far as the lore and the way we think about them, I'm not really sure what the difference is between a cryptid
Oh, yeah.
and
So the sword that Guts the swordsman is carrying around is called the Dragon Slayer. Even though there's like no dragons in that world.
oh wow. Well, there you go. I am not the best at drawing humans or humanish creatures, so this should be very fascinating. I'm going to attempt not to just trace over it, so instead I have here in Procreate I just have my reference and I can move it
Uh-huh.
around. Normally, I mean, if I wanted to I could put it over this and draw on it, but I feel like that would kind of take away. So Smoo, I don't know if you just want to chat about things and maybe help me figure out how to make this guy creepy, or if you want to draw along your own version of how
I'm
this, it's whatever you want to do, man.
I'm currently drawing a little bit with my graphics tablet because I've
Oh,
got this
perfect.
one from Faber-Castell for
Oh,
Christmas one time. It is like a digital tablet of sorts. You can use a digital ring that you can put on a pencil, and it traces your pencil movements, or you
I've
can use a
heard of
digital
that.
pen. It comes with its own software, which is pretty cool.
I've heard of that. Okay. Okay. So
So
his
yeah, I'm okay with just chatting along and see where
sure.
the conversation takes
Let's
it.
see where life kind of takes us. I'm not the
Yeah,
best with like when it comes to creating these things as far as like following the reference and measurements and
right.
space and stuff like that. So we're just gonna kind of see where it goes. But that's the
I
whole
have a
point
hard
of
time
sketching.
finding names for characters. If I create my own character in like games, for example, and it says, "Look, you have to pick a name," and I'm like, I don't know. like,
No, I
like
love that's my favorite part. I love like character building, world building. Like that's my favorite. It's my favorite.
I mean, like sometimes when there's like a name randomizer, I'm like, oh, thank God, there's a random like a randomizer in it because sometimes it gives you names where you're like, yeah, okay, that works completely fine. Like sometimes I have like names in mind that I want to use,
Yeah.
and then sometimes I don't. It's like, I think it depends on like what kind of universe it is in. If
Mhm.
it's like a medieval kind of thing, I have an easier time figuring out what I want to call characters because you can pick like old Germanic names or
Mhm.
l- older sounding names. What I found fascinating was I had a patient recently who had like an old German name. And when I saw the name on the paper, I was like, this must be an old man. And then I looked at the date of birth and I was like, huh, it's like a 3-year-old kid. So
So it's making a comeback. That's here in the States where they, all of a sudden you're hearing of little girls named Eleanor. And it's like, dear
yeah,
God, you haven't heard of Eleanor since, yeah, 3 generations ago. It's a lovely name. It's just
mm,
outdated, names like Daisy and things like that.
mm-hmm,
So it's kind of nice that these elegant, old fashioned names are coming back. Always been a fan of Octavian. I don't know if that's
mm-hmm.
going to come around or not, but yeah, it'd be cool. Yeah, there you go. This is an ancient
Brunhilde.
German.
Yes. Brunhilde is definitely I actually know somebody named Brunhilde.
Okay.
And she's like my age. And I'm like, your parents must have hated you as a kid. That was my initial
They're trying
reaction when
to
I first met
restore
her.
Germany to its former glory, Smo. That's what it
Yes.
is. That's what they're trying
Yes.
to bring back the German, we need some more Hanses, some more Fritzes.
Well, my grandpa's actually called Fritz, and it's kind of funny because like I said, like I see kids with like older German names like Helmut. Helmut is making a comeback.
Nice. I like it.
Friedrich,
Yes.
Hans used to be a little extinct these days, but that name is making a comeback as well.
I had
Surprisingly,
I had an uncle Heinz.
Heinz, yes, yeah,
Yes, I had an Uncle Heinz. And
Horst,
Werner
Werner,
and
yeah,
oh shoot. I had 3 uncles. I've never met them. They passed away long before I was born, but well, or long before anyway, but
yeah,
oh gosh, there was another one. It was Heinz, Werner, and something else. Something very German.
something, 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 something German.
But yeah. The personal favorite, classic Wolfgang.
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 My best friend's father is actually called Wolfgang.
Like every third person used to be Wolfgang. Wolfgang.
Yes, because of Mozart. That's why everybody wanted to have Wolfgang, or like Joseph, because of Joseph Haydn, right?
Oh.
The composer, because it is a weird trend that parents tended to name their kids after composers. And yeah, there's a certain name in the chat that I'm not legally not allowed to read. Well, technically I can read it, but I won't say it because that name should be extinct anyway, for historical reasons. But yeah,
I don't know.
legally, you're not allowed to call your kid that.
Really? Is that the
Yeah.
case? No more little.
They try to get rid of that name in Germany. If you want to call your kid that, chances are the nurses might call the authorities on you.
I mean, I understand, but at the same time, it's one of these things where it's like there were dozens of other kids named Adolf. Okay,
Yes.
so it's like.
I actually met somebody with that name just
Yeah,
recently.
and it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, it just takes that one person to ruin everything, and it's just you kind of wonder if more people did name their child after somebody, not after them, but gave them a name, like this, it would kind of cleanse the palate maybe a little bit. I mean, for crying out loud, one of our presidents' middle name was Hussein.
Yeah.
Barack Hussein Obama. Nobody cares.
I thought it was fascinating that Biden's middle name was Robinette. I was like,
oh, I didn't know that.
Joseph Robinette Biden. It's like, that's a girl's name.
I mean, hey, I mean, it's one of those things where, there's some girls that are named after. I know a friend who, let's see, let me finish my thought. There are some girls that are named after men, and that seems to be okay. But it's like when men are named after women, it's weird, right? But I do have a friend that, their child, unfortunately, the husband's mother, was very dear to him, passed away many years ago, and very close, obviously being mom and stuff like that. And they wanted to pay a tribute to her. And this was the first grandchild. And they had to do some research into history because they didn't, of course, want their kid to be bullied, but they ended up giving him his middle name, Sharon. Apparently, many, many years ago, Sharon wasn't necessarily just a girl's name. So, which is like Shannon. I've only ever known Shannon to be a woman's name. Growing up, my mom had a friend named Shannon, and so I've only known it as a woman's name. But actually, it's also a man's name, or probably was first a man's name. It's just like Ashley and Brittany are actually male names because they're from like province.
Actually, I can believe, yeah.
Because Brittany, of course, that's the American version of that, but Brittany is like a province of France, and so French nobility, where they had like it wasn't uncommon for a boy to be named Bretonnier, and we just.
I mean, you also got Italian, like the Italians say, and use Andrea as a male and a female name, for example, or I know a German actor called Christoph Maria Herbst, which is unusual for a middle name, right? Because why would you call your son Maria? But it's just it was just random happenstance that it was called that.
And it does mean something different in different countries, and I mean, like here, in English, or not English, but like, well, I mean, I was thinking America, but I don't know, maybe it's like that in England too. But like Julian, it's a boy and a girl name.
Yes.
Jesse, Alex.
Yeah.
Taylor.
I mean, my actual name is a deviation of the name Alex, for example. Because
I thought that's what Smooth stood for.
Yeah, so because my parents, my dad actually wanted to call me Junior originally, but then my mom was like, "That's dumb. Why don't we just give him a name that's kind of an abbreviation of the name?" I was like, "Okay, yep, that works too."
That's so funny. My mom, when she first heard about Junior, she was like, "What is a junior?"
Yeah,
and my dad had to
senior. So.
Right, my dad kind of had to explain because my dad is a junior, and she's like, "Yeah, but what does that mean?" And he's like, "Well, I carry my father's name." She's like, "And?" But what?
Yeah, but you have to differentiate between son and father and son,
right?
But
so. It's just like, what does that mean? It's like it doesn't really mean anything. It just is what it is. Yeah.
Mm.
Like,
Yeah.
it's so funny with, different countries and what we do one
It
place or the other.
isn't it fascinating though how a name can change the perception of how people see you in a way?
Oh,
Like
yeah.
because in certain cases, like when I know like with certain names of people, I'm like, huh, okay, so that's what who you are, right?
That's
So,
well, that's why it's so important. Like people just we got lost in this era of creativity and uniqueness, right?
mhm.
So, which really was a farce because I've said this story before. As far as I know, this has always been a female name. I only know that just because based off of the
Uh,
Bible, one of the most ancient manuscripts in the world, the
mm.
first time Abigail's mentioned, it's a female. So,
I think there's instances where Abigail may have been a male's name because I know a villain that was named Abigail in a game, and I was
okay.
like, that's a strange choice for a guy's name. But yeah, that is a thing apparently. Not
I
every. I
mean,
think it's a regional thing.
could be very, very much so. That's like I think in the Bible, in the New Testament. Well, I
Right,
know that in the New Testament there is a passage of scripture that says the household of Chloe. Right now,
right,
typically you hear Chloe be a female, right? It's a
yes,
girl's name, but historically, when it's written down, the household of so and so, that's
uh huh.
usually in a reference to a
The
man
man,
because the
yeah,
man was the leader of the home.
correct.
So I haven't done a lot of research into that, but that's just something that caught my attention when I read it one time. Where it's like, oh, that's interesting. Does that mean Chloe? Which obviously as an American, I'm probably not pronouncing it correctly at all anyway, because I think it's a Greek name. But nevertheless, it's spelled, at least in I don't know if it's spelled differently in a different version of the Bible. When I read it in
Mm.
the King James, it's spelled the same way that every girl spells her name, except, well, with a C. Again, going back to the whole weird uniqueness thing where it's like, oh, I want to name my kid Chloe, so I'm going to spell it with a K, or one of my favorite stories was when I worked at a studio and we had to write down the names of the kids on their art projects. One of the moms was letting me know my daughter's name is Corbin. It's spelled with a Y, so people know that she's a girl.
Okay.
It's like, okay, but when I call for Corbin, I don't say with a Y, or nobody's going to know that it's spelled with a Y. They're just going to hear a boy's name.
Hmm.
They're not going to hear Corbin with a Y, so it
Yeah.
must be a girl. And that doesn't make sense. Plus, it's like, oh man, eh, now they're starting to do that. Well, they did that with boys too, where they started reply. I don't know why everybody got obsessed with a Y. Have you ever seen weird names like Paxton, spelled the most
Yes.
ridiculous way? Number one, Paxton, it's kind of a weird name, unless
Mm.
you're like a sci-fi surfer or something like that. But
Hmm.
then it's like, yeah, it's like Paxtyn,
That's almost
NE.
that's almost as strange as Elon's son's naming convention. Like
Yes.
when I saw that name for the first time, I was like, what?
His
So
his son's name is like a mathematical equation or something like
yeah.
that.
So I
It's
just looked up Chloe. So also spelled Chloe with an umlaut at the above the e, or
ah
the o, or a apostrophe above the e, like the French usually do. Is a
ah
feminine name meaning blooming or fertility in Greek.
aha.
The
Oh,
the
so
name ultimately derives through Greek from the Proto-Indo-European root gelch,
mm,
which relates to the colors yellow and green. Yeah, that makes sense,
okay,
considering, yeah. In Greek, the word refers to young green foliage or shoots of plants in spring.
interesting.
And
See,
it's
yeah.
apparently an epithet of Demeter, referring to young green
Mm.
foliage or shoots of plants. Interesting.
The more you know.
And it was occasionally misspelled as coal, Chole, in the US, apparently.
I can see that. We struggle with accents and things like that here, so forgive us.
Fascinating, though, isn't it?
It really
There,
is.
there's a lot of Chloes as well, like famous Chloes and people that have the name, apparently.
Chloe Mortez, is that her name? She's like a young actress.
Hmm. Chloe
Uh,
Grace Moretz.
yeah. And then like Chloe Agnew is really the only famous one I know of. She's from
Mm,
Ireland.
yep, that's one.
I'm so doing this the wrong way. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm trying to use like the Lumos method for humans in trying to
Hmm.
draw a not human.
I mean, it's not a bad approach though.
Yeah, I'll give it a try, but it's I definitely can tell like this is the practice run. It's the
Yeah,
practice run.
exactly.
But
Practice, not imperfection.
you
So
never know where it might take you. I can tell already like there's so much symmetry is off, but it's like, hey, we're gonna go with the wind and see where it takes us.
yeah, exactly. May the winds be the guide that you need, as they say. I mean,
Let's see.
if I think about like naming conventions and all that stuff, and sometimes you catch yourself thinking about like, hey, so when I have offspring, so what are you
Mm.
gonna name them, right?
Oh yeah.
I would probably go for like old school, fashioned names too, because
Yeah.
just to keep up, carry on traditions, right? In a
Yeah.
way, and I find it's a fascinating concept because sometimes you just don't know like what you want to name your kid for. And please don't name your kids after TV show characters because I've seen people calling their kids Khaleesi, and especially after the last
Oh
season of Game
yeah.
of Thrones, that's like the worst thing you can do, in my opinion. And yeah, just generally speaking, be thoughtful of your kid's name because that kid will have to carry the name for the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
And
And people judge you. They will
yes,
100% judge you based on your name. Look,
yes,
okay, not trying to be gross here, but like there are women out there that their name is placenta because their mom thought it was pretty and had no idea what it meant. Okay.
why would
I've
you name your kid that? That's
She thought it was pretty. She heard somebody talking about it, didn't know what it
why
meant, and so
why would
she
you?
so she named her daughter that. I have met somebody named Precious.
Oh, I've met. That's a pretty common thing in certain demographics. Yes.
Yes, yes, yes. Precious Princess.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, for dear God, look at the names that what's his face? Nick Cannon has given all his children. None of them make sense. Nobody's going to take any of their kids seriously. It's a good thing that he's loaded because these people could never get a serious career.
Right. Right.
One of them is named Beautiful Queen or something like that. And like that is a
Yeah. Well,
title. That is not a name.
that's a title you give to a woman you admire. Like say like, hey, she's a gorgeous little queen or something. It's like,
Uh, DL, I'm going to tell you, there are some women that literally go 9 months without realizing they're pregnant. Doesn't happen
yep,
often.
yep.
There are some women. I remember meeting a pastor a preacher one time, and he was telling these funny stories because he. This will sound harsh, but it's just how it is. A lot of times, people who are uninformed just don't live the cleanest, healthiest lifestyle, right? So he would minister to these people and try to just bring them the good news. But a lot of them were very simple.
Mm-hmm.
And he met her one year, and then he saw this one lady. She was
Mm-hmm.
there. He was with his wife. They were helping out. Met this one lady. Had a good chat. Next time, he said it was like a year or less than a year later. He saw that same woman, and she had a baby on her hip. And he was like, "Hey, I didn't know you were pregnant." And she's like, "Neither did I." She's like, "I thought it was gas." And that is the most common from what I understand, that is the most common what do you not miss not mi-
Misconception.
yeah, or whatever it is, where that's what women they mistake their symptoms and think that it's just gas. Literally
But
growing a human
surely you would
child.
notice a little bit of movement in you, like a kick or something.
That's what they thought the gaseousness was.
I'd be very concerned if that would have been me.
Right. I mean, on top of all the other health things that change, some women are just completely oblivious and just don't pay attention. These are simple minded people. And so the nurses should have intervened. How are you going to intervene when someone says, no, name my child this? They can't, you can't, there's no law that says you can't. There's no law that says you can't name your kid the worst. My aunts used to be nurses, and one of them worked with like some of the or either they worked with or they knew some of the people that worked in the daycare or in the baby portion of the hospital. Ruby Tuesday Rock and Roll was one of the baby's names. Beaver was another one of the names. Nothing else, just Beaver.
Beaver is a terrible name, especially if that's a woman.
I know. I know.
Especially in context of like what other things you can name Beaver.
Well,
It's,
yeah, like as the as the child gets older, you have to consider. Now, obviously, people are going to find it doesn't matter. Your name could be Shelly, and people are going to nickname you Smelly. It doesn't matter. Bullies are
yes.
bullies, but you don't want to put your kid in that situation. Thank God that Ruby Tuesday Rock and Roll could at least go by Ruby, and that's a normal name. But if anybody else finds out, could you imagine getting in trouble at school and your mom calls you and you'd be like, Ruby Tuesday Rock and Roll, get your butt over here.
That's why sometimes having a double name is a good thing, because then you can just abridge, or the kid can choose what they want to call themselves. Right. So you have one inoffensive name and maybe the name that you intended. And that's the name you call out in full when the kid has done something bad,
Yeah, I don't think those parents care, it's just.
Yeah, I think some parents just get carried away in the moment when they name a kid and they don't really think about the actual consequences it will have for the kid.
Yeah. I know someone who had a baby that didn't know she was pregnant. Funny thing is she had been pregnant before. Yeah. Well, that was the thing too with this particular woman that this minister knew. She was a very overweight woman. And so nobody could tell that she was pregnant, and apparently she couldn't tell that she was pregnant either.
I mean, yeah. I can't say much about that. So, but that makes sense, yeah.
Okay.
I suppose.
I mean, maybe I don't understand, but I don't think there's anything wrong with this name. It's like a normal
Harry Peter.
Like that's just a normal English kind of name. Harry. You don't find a lot of Harrys, I think, in America as you do in England.
Harry's a pretty common name in England, so.
Yeah, it's more common in England than it is in America. I mean, we have quite a few Harolds, which is what Harry is short for, but I mean, not as many Harolds as we once did. Sharon Cox, I don't think that's a weird name either. It's a pretty normal. That's a normal name.
Well, if you put it in a naughty context.
Oh, I see it. Well, but this is one of those instances where you have to be in that mindset to think about it. Otherwise, this is a totally normal name. I think the internet with wordplay and usernames has kind of done that, where we I literally had no idea until you said. So I'm like, Sharon's a normal name. I had a friend with the last name of Cox. I don't understand what the problem is.
I read the name and I was like, okay, that's definitely a naughty one.
Yeah, but
right away.
Oh man, it's kind of like Karen too, right? Karen's actually a nice name, but it's just become.
I've got an aunt with that name, and she's like, I'm so over people saying the Karen thing. Because she's like, I'm normal. I hate sharing my name with these stupid people.
Yeah.
That's what she even said to me.
What was a high school teacher? Everyone was in that mindset. Well, I guess it depends on the school you go to. Not everybody knows that is like slang for male genitalia. Just throwing that out there. Not everybody knows that. Because normal people look at it like a regular last name.
You can look at it in an innocent way.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just what
I like to put it as the normal way.
Yes.
Normal way.
My cousin Rachel, for example, she experienced an even funnier one. She started working in one of the local supermarkets, and the manager was like, "What was your name again? Rochelle? Yeah, okay, put it on the name tag." Although she did write in her CV what her actual name is, and she was like, "Hi, I'm Rachel. I'm here for the job interview." Oh yeah, Rochelle. That's fine. You can start working tomorrow. It goes to show you how much people pay attention to names sometimes.
Yeah, they don't care. Sometimes I've heard that sometimes that's like a power move too, where it's kind of like letting people know that you're in a place of authority. So if you kind of forget what their name is, it's like this weird power move. I don't know. It's just something I've heard about. Because it's kind of insulting that somebody's not going to take time to truly understand or say your name correctly. And
you would think that a common name like Rachel would be, a normal thing.
Oh, for
right?
sure. I'm pretty sure that person knew what her name was, and he just chose not to just be like, "That's
Being
Rachel." Or
deliberately ignorant, you mean, in a way.
it's okay. It means you're not corrupted by the world. I'm a corrupted enough, you know. I look. It's not like I don't. I know people think I don't know things. It's more of like because like I did like the whole Sharon name thing. Like after I said it, like and I kind of saw Smooth was making things like, oh, I get it. But because I choose not to necessarily dwell on that kind of verbiage, it was like it's not the first thing that comes to mind, you know.
Listen, chat, I'm already corrupted enough. Don't put that stuff on Tabitha, okay? It's
I
already
don't I
bad
don't
enough.
know if that's just being too innocent or if it's just choosing a different mindset. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know.
Probably a
I
different
don't
mindset.
know. I think it depends on, what your job is too, like who you're hang out with. Like,
Yeah.
obviously if you're on the internet a lot and you have a lot of responsibilities and you're streaming and stuff like that, it's pretty it's people think it's funny, which it can be. Wordplay is pretty fun.
I mean,
Um,
some of the names that Gary and Drinker read out, for example, in super chats, I'm like, I'm
oh
just sitting in front
yeah.
of my screen just face palming while they read the names. And I'm like, good
Yeah.
God, did you actually read the names? There's even one instance
Ugh.
where Drinker read a name 5 times and Mauler was like,
You're gonna get
read that again.
demonetized.
Now it's like read that again. And
Yeah.
Drinker didn't get it until Mauler pointed out to him what the name actually is, and he just started laughing.
Exactly. Yeah. Some of them are pretty creative for sure. Even if
Yeah,
they are a little naughty, they're definitely creative. It's like put that creative power into a good book or something.
yeah, exactly. Put your creative energy into something else, like, right? So
Oh my gosh. All right. This character is just looking terrible. I don't know what I'm doing, but we've got a face. And of course, for most people who don't know, this is the part that artists tend to hate the most. Okay. The
the
reason being,
face.
well, it's not the face, it's the rough sketching, because as you can clearly see, this is not that great. I mean, we've got something going on, but it's
Mm-hmm.
not perfect. It's not the vision that we are desiring. And so this is the part where people just want to either quit, they want to start over and erase everything. But trying to remember that the rough sketch is supposed to be like this so you can figure out what you do and do not like. And then I was telling this to um Biggles the other day. So that's why you would have two different colored pencils in the real
Mm-hmm.
world. Or when it
Correct.
comes digitally, you make another layer and then you take a different color and then you will sketch over it and be like, well, I like this over here, but I want to move the eye back this way. So that way you can figure out actually that did look better. So
Yeah.
and
But
so you don't want to make too rash of a decision. This is part of the process for even
yep.
professionals, so don't get discouraged if your rough sketch looks like crap. That's why it's called a rough sketch.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? Sometimes it is good to have like a reference at least, so you know
Yeah.
you what you don't do next time. You
Oh
know,
yeah,
like
reference. Yeah.
I think having a reference is always a good thing because it helps you like grow as an artist, and also you can figure out like what mistakes you've made. For example, I've made a drawing of you've seen the drawing of Sevi that I made, right?
Um, a while ago, was it not?
It was like a while ago, but
Yeah.
until I got to the stage where I was actually satisfied with it, it took me like 4 attempts. I was like, okay, no,
Yeah.
this is crap. Just throw it out.
Yep. Yep.
And then after the third attempt, I was like, you know what? I'll just keep this as a reference,
Mm-hmm.
just so I have it instead of like tossing it out right away.
Right.
A-
Hundred
And
percent.
that actually helped me feel a bit more secure about the final product
Yeah.
when I send it to Sevi, so she has it on her. And yeah, it's just sometimes you just have to fail in order to
Mhm.
succeed, you know?
There's an artist that I follow here on YouTube, professional artist called Kesh, right?
Cash. Okay.
And he does beautiful artwork, and he does tutorials or encouragement, things like that, just some walkthroughs and whatnot.
Yeah.
And there was one video where he talked about learn to fail faster,
Yeah.
which was super fascinating. And it's just like kind of what Smooth and I are just saying, but doing it faster. It's like sketch out something that you want to draw really quickly and identify quickly. Like the more you do it, you'll be able to identify quickly what is wrong, what is right, so that the next time you draw, constantly trying to strive for perfection is not going to get you very far in your
It's
artwork.
unhealthy.
It's
It's unhealthy.
unhealthy, and it's not actually helpful.
Yeah.
So learning to fail faster actually gets you closer to perfection than striving for perfection every single time. So
Yes.
it's a fascinating channel. Should totally check it out.
Yep.
Um,
Shout out.
Shout out Kesh. Thank you for what you give to the world. All right. So yeah, this is
Teacher
weird.
was talking about somebody that he ran across named Lily Lip.
No, yes,
Wow.
yes.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, I've seen like even last names where the lady is, well, there's a naughty word for certain things in German as well,
Of
and she
course.
she she explicitly asked us to not pronounce the way this name is written.
Yeah.
She actually wanted, and she said, think of Wix inhaler. She said, I was like, okay, yeah, but just remove the S. I was like, yeah, okay, I get that. So she deliberately asked us to change the name because she just knew that people would start laughing as soon as they would read the name. So
Yeah.
I,
Oh
I feel
man.
kind of I feel kind of bad felt kind of bad for her, and I was like, and in my mind I was like, surely you could have married somebody with a different name.
Well, but
You-
that person can't control what their last name is unless you
yeah,
legally change it. It makes it rough. It's like oh, who is it? Tim Allen. Do you know what his real last name is?
is it a German sounding name? Is it a naughty
Oh,
name?
well, it's not a it's kind of a dirty word for male anatomy. He's Lebanese. So I'm not
Wait,
sure
Tim
where
Allen
this
is
name.
Lebanese?
Yeah,
Okay,
his heritage is Lebanese. Let me put it
okay.
this way. He's
Oh,
American.
oh, oh,
You know,
TAD is his initials, right? Because it's a Tim Allen.
yeah,
cr-
yeah,
uh,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah. So it's, of
Okay,
course,
I
as
didn't
a
know that.
dude and
Interesting.
as a comedian, how far are you going to go in the world of success with that kind of a last name?
I
It's like,
mean, there was somebody with that name, but then again, yeah, he wasn't actually
did he become a
like.
superstar or a great American hero?
To be fair, no, but he
No.
has been shrouded in controversy. So
Well, there you go. There you go.
same last name as well. So
My brother one time was telling me about this one girl. Her name was Shithayed. And while
mhm.
that doesn't sound bad, if you spell it, it's not good. So it's not about how it's pronounced, it's about how it's spelled.
Okay,
ShithEAD.
wow.
Or hang on.
Is that Irish? Is that an Irish name? Because of the way it's spoken, it sounds like an Irish name.
There's a certain demographic that takes weird things and just makes them sound fancy.
Welsh and Irish do that. Love to do that.
Okay. Okay, not here in the States.
Well, if I'm being generous, yeah, yeah.
So this particular guy named his daughter Shithayed, which sounds pretty, but when you spell it on paper, it's craphead. So
I learn a new thing every day. I love it.
yeah, that's not the first time that I've heard somebody name their child. Or one of my personal favorites was Ladasha, but it's not spelled Ladasha. It's spelled actually LA dash A. And it's
Okay.
like that's so basically her name this little girl's name is La A. But this person is convinced that dash has become part of the alphabet and can be pronounced as a letter. But that's not how English works. So this girl's name is La A, but they
Mhm.
call her Ladasha. The other thing is too is that a
Sounds like
dash.
a race car almost. You
It
know
does.
what
It
I mean?
actually sounds like a really cool race car. I would drive a Ladasha.
Like a French race car or something, right? That's what it sounds like.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
some people they strive so much for creativity that
I
they're
mean,
they're missing the practicality of life. Let me put it this way. Or what is it? Have you not heard of the twins Lamangelo and Orangelo?
no.
If you spell okay, so that's how you pronounce it. Legit had people say they've met kids like this. People think they're being fancy. It sounds fancy. Sounds like
Yeah.
some fancy Italian name, right? Okay, you spell it out. It's lemon and orange jello. What are you gonna
I
do when you're at the DMV and somebody's like orange jello? Orange jello?
Kool-Aid man. I have a
I-
Kool-Aid man.
It's just terrible.
Mr. Kool-Aid.
Oh.
Like imagine naming your kid that way. That's like, ugh. I don't know.
But then it's like, don't be surprised when your kids get bullied at school
Yep.
and your kids develop a chip on their shoulder because they have to grow a thick skin. Now, look, my name is Tabitha. Okay. Number one, kids are mean. Number two, Tabitha is not a common name. So people think, little kids will make fun of it. The other thing is that growing up in church, going to a Christian school, Tabitha, if you read through the Bible, it literally says Tabitha, meaning Dorcas. Okay. It's like the Greek translation or whatever. Yeah. Thanks a lot, Smooth.
Dorcas.
Thanks for the support. So, how do you think it was for Tabitha growing up when people were like Dorcas,
I mean,
not that Tabitha's a bad name. I'm just saying it's just how it is. When you have a name that's unique or different, people are going to find a way to pick on you. And if you give them a reason, like naming your child Orange Jello, that's on you. I do not blame my parents for naming me Tabitha because there's nothing wrong with Tabitha. It's just that in a different language, Dorcas means like graceful or gazelle or something like that. So that's a different that's different, But obviously American kids, when they find out that another term for your name is Dorcas, I mean, my parents named me Tabitha. They didn't name me Dorcas. But of course, like I said, going to Christian school, going to church with these same people, and from the pulpit, they're like reading in the book of Acts, and there was Tabitha, who is also called Dorcas. Like, and you're of course, and you're the only Tabitha in the entire church. Everybody looks at you.
Everybody turns around like, "It's you."
Everybody looks at you and laughs. So,
yeah,
I know I'm left-handed. Okay, I'm a female artist. My personality type is one of the most rare in the world, and my name is Tabitha, which also means Dorcas. I didn't have a chance in Hades.
No,
but I turned out okay.
I have to pick up on something that you just said. Rare personality.
Yes.
What kind of personality is that?
Apparently, I am an INFJ, and that only makes
I
up
am too.
Are you? Well,
Yes.
No wonder we get along. INFJ, and it's apparently one of the rarest personality types on the planet.
That doesn't surprise me.
Also, being left-handed and a creative person and being a female, I was destined to just be a little weird.
I mean, we're talking about being bullied and stuff. I used to be bullied for my name as well. I mean, I've shown Joe Mama my driver's license when I met her.
Yeah, I saw it.
And she was like, then when she said goodbye to me, she was like, "See you around,"
Smooth.
And I was, see you around, Smooth. And I was like, "Oh snap, yeah." And she even chuckled when she said it. I was like, "Okay, I must have had a really bad choice of name if that's the case." But luckily my parents were so gracious to give me a male second name. So, yeah, wager from that what you will, chat. So,
yeah, it's hard out there. So I guess, today's lesson is, you know what? Name your kid whatever the freak you want, because it doesn't matter if they have a normal name. Kids are mean.
I mean, Risket raises an excellent point. Being called a dork is a compliment these days.
Well, okay, maybe nowadays, but not when I was a kid.
Well, yeah, obviously.
Not when I was a kid.
I mean, I've been called all sorts of names in the past. My supervisor, my mentor during the nurse training called me Cinderella because she couldn't pronounce my damn name, and I was like, "I am not a girl." She was like, "Yeah, but I still call you that." I was like,
"Wow,
that's pretty offensive, right?"
I would
call me that, and she belittled me for that.
Hey, Smooth, she's an iconic Disney princess that's beloved by many. Take it as a compliment that
Yeah, I
you
suppose. Yeah,
you,
yeah,
you know,
okay.
she was
Yeah.
beautiful, she was kind-hearted, she was a hard-working woman, like she knew how to get down and get
I haven't looked at
dirty
it that way, but
and
yeah.
she knew how to accomplish the goal. So maybe it wasn't so much that she thought you were a feminine princess, but that she was like, Smooth's a hard-working, dedicated person. Reminds me of Cinderella.
Could be. Yeah.
Could be.
At this
Look,
point, I don't know.
well, that's the other thing too. I say the other thing as if that's the same. It's not. But like, we were talking about like, men having girl names, girls having male names. Like one way is fine, the other way is not, quote unquote.
Yep.
And so it's like the same thing. Being compared to a female as a male is like
Like
offensive
it's a
because
gut punch.
it's
Yeah.
like a gut punch because it's like automatically it's like what you think I'm a wuss. Whereas if a woman is compared to a male, it's like, yeah, that's
It's like
awesome,
it's like you know what name springs to mind when when I think of that? Adrian. Like
Adrian.
Adrian. I was have to think of
Oh, that's another
Sylvester
boy
Stallone.
girl name. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I have to think of Adrian Brody, the actor. I mean, granted, he's a bit of a nut job, but
Let me see
yeah.
something real quick. Let me remove this real quickly. I'm gonna try something. It is kind of weird, but it's like, again, where one of these things is not like the other, but it's a compliment for one, it's not a compliment for the other. And it's just, man, you guys in your patriarchy, suppressing the women, just can't even take a compliment. Man,
Mm, I
men.
know, right? Man.
It is interesting how quote unquote, I say okay, just by societal standards. It's okay for a woman to be compared to a man, but it's not okay for a man to be compared to a woman. Like you've never heard somebody say, "Man, that dude, he reminds me of Rosa Parks." That would be a good thing. Right? That's a great
Mm,
thing. That means to me
mm,
that comes across like you have courage, you're willing to stand up for your principles, you're
mm,
willing to go against the norm and face adversity for what you believe in. But no,
mm.
because it's a man being compared to a woman, it's like, why couldn't he say He-Man? You know what I'm saying?
Why couldn't you say Malcolm X or something like that?
Right,
Or like,
yeah. Yeah. 100%. All right.
like it is silly, honestly. Like how the whole dynamic has shifted, especially nowadays. It is fascinating to see like how quickly people are offended if you compare them to certain people.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's well, there you go. Women are hardcore, but at the end of the day, the societal norm is that if a woman is compared to a man, it's a kind gesture. But if a man is compared to a woman, and I'm not saying like a prissy woman, blah blah blah, but like again, like my example with Rosa Parks or whatever, like that. If a man's compared to a woman, like you're never gonna hear even like let's just go pop culture, somebody that a lot of nerds admire. If I told Smoo, you remind me a lot of Helen Ripley, it still kind of rubs against the grain, doesn't it? It's
I
not
mean,
like you kind of have to reach and be like, thanks.
yeah, I'll be like, you're wilding, but I'll be like, yeah, okay, I'll see it. Yeah.
Right. But it's not like you're not going to be like right away, like, thanks. That means a lot. You have to think
I'll be
about it and
like,
be like, I think that's a compliment.
what now?
Right. But if somebody tells me, man, you remind me a lot of Rambo, I'd be like, cool. Like instantly. It's like,
Yeah. It's like,
cool.
yeah, you remind me of John Rambo. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
cool.
I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. It's weird. It's like I'm not saying you're a girly girl. It's just like she's got admirable traits. Sorry, we just can't. We don't do that here.
Right?
Riskit says, "What's the most common name trans dudes take when becoming a woman?" Amanda. Ah, I've heard that joke before. Dad jokes in the house. Dad jokes.
Of course, Risky
um,
comes in with the dad jokes. Be
the
glad
name
that
Kim.
Chrysanthus not here.
Oh, for
Risky.
real. The name Kim used to be male or female, but not anymore. Well, I think that also depends on what country you're from, does it not?
I think
I
so.
don't know that Kim ever was. I've never really heard of Kim being a male name,
That
unless it's in Asian cultures.
probably in Asian culture.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can share.
So I'm going to do the unthinkable, and I'm going to just see what happens if I try to trace over this and then compare it to my sketch.
No,
I
none of
mean, I
it.
know it's going to be off, but I want to kind of see what shapes I'm working with. That was something else that Kesh was talking about, where it's like one way to get faster at drawing, recognize the shapes. And so I think that's something that I need to do here is like, I see that like this. That's pretty much, let me make this a little bit bigger. I do see a pizza triangle right here. And then it's like an oval up top. That's an ice cream cone. Oh my gosh, it's an ice cream cone. And
It's a
then
king cone.
there's another triangle here. So I think that's part of the he kind of looks like a when I put the blue like this, he looks like a toy soldier avatar creature.
Get to work, soldier.
Oh, that's so funny.
I
I,
heard recently that they're gonna do another Small Soldiers movie, and I'm like, why would they
oh,
do that nowadays? Like, I'm a bit worried about Hollywood touching anything these days.
anything. That movie kind of scared me, TBH, when I was a kid,
Um,
when I saw it as a kid, because
yeah,
it wasn't like Toy Story.
no,
And
far from it,
it
far
just
from
was
it.
it was like, a lot more violent for toys, and I
I
was a
would
little kid.
I would even argue that this movie was rated too low for its time. But then again, we also had RoboCop, which was marketed to kids, even though that movie
RoboCop.
was pretty
Well, it's like
violent.
I heard, everybody talks, or not everybody, a lot of people talk about 16 Candles. I've never seen it. And it's supposed to be like back in the 80s, it was a teen movie, typical blah, blah,
Mm.
blah. But it was rated PG. But from what I understand, like in one of the opening scenes, you've got like a full blown, unclothed teenage girl in the shower. And it's like,
Oh,
how is that supposed to be, number one, a teen movie, and second, PG? What were we
I
doing in the
mean,
80s? Like, what were we
I
doing?
mean, uh, as a German, it's the
Well,
complete opposite for us, right? Because
right,
nudity is completely fine. You
right.
can see full blown junk as of age zero
Yeah.
in some movies, whereas violence is like, you may have to tweak that a little bit. But then again,
Ironically.
ironically, yeah, I mean, when you look at like what we can see in museums all across Europe, because
Mhm.
that's always the meme, like with French museums, where you see like topless
Yeah.
in the museums and stuff. And a lot of like Americans always make fun of that on when
Mhm.
they make like travel vlogs and all that stuff. It's like, hey, see,
Mhm.
we get free nudity in public. It's like,
Right.
yeah, but slowly but steadily, people are catching on to that because I recently read a story that they're getting rid of a mermaid statue somewhere in Norway because of it, because people are getting offended by the fact that she's naked. And
It
I'm like, why? It's like it's been there for such a long time, and now you feel offended by it. Like, make it make sense.
yeah, it's it's a lot.
It's a weird world out there.
It's a weird world out there, I mean, I am prudish. I do believe in covering up, save yourself for marriage, all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
Um but different cultures. So I am reading Melania Trump's I guess it's autobiography, because she wrote it, because biographies are when people write it about you, right? That's
Mm-hmm.
how that works.
Mm-hmm.
So autobiography. And I remember here when Trump was first running for president, there was a lot of scrutiny because of the fact that she was a former Playboy bunny, or whatever she was. She was a model, supermodel, and she had posed nude or semi-nude for a magazine. And that a lot of conservative Christians had a hard time with that, because it goes heavily
Against
against
the grain.
the standard and the belief, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
it was like, oh my gosh, how could we possibly have a woman like that be the first lady, blah blah blah. And then there is the thing where it's sometimes people make decisions when they're younger that possibly they regret when they're older. However, with
Right.
Melania Trump, a lot of people don't understand either. She's not from here, from
She's
America.
Eastern European.
She's Eastern European. And so no, it wasn't that they were jealous. It's not that they were jealous. It was that's not it's not something that as far as a sacred, let me put it that way, professional sacred position,
Mm-hmm.
having a history or a background like that is frowned upon. It's not
Yes.
professional, right? So it's not something that you want people, it's not a person that you would want your kids to look up to by typical
Standards.
conservative, I mean, old-fashioned standards, right?
Yes.
So to have an upcoming first lady that has had a past history of this was a little bit bewildering and scandalous. And so when you read, though, her autobiography. It's fascinating because she was like, there was a lot of scrutiny and people upset about that. And she's like, I make no apologies for that. She was like, that was the career that I was in. And she said, and Americans and Europeans look at nudity very differently.
Correct.
And so while over in Europe, it was looked at as tasteful, amplifying women's beauty, all this kind of stuff. Americans look at it, and she's really gracious when she writes this book, where she's like, everybody has their own, and it is whatever your standard needs to be. That's what it is. But for her, she was like, I feel no shame or no regret for the decision that I made. It got me to where I am today. And it's like, that's a lot for old-fashioned conservative.
Yeah, I mean, she could have basically just gone the route of, well, not mind your business and leave me alone.
Right. I appreciate the gracious answer. Yeah, we have a lot of messed up people there. I just,
I mean, memes of destruction is raising a good point, though. Like, Europe's nudity is in Europe, nudity is common. In the US, violence is common. So.
Yeah, exactly. It's like pick one or the other. I remember being in Germany as a young age, and you would just go stand on the corner of the street waiting for your bus, and you looked over at where you get your newspaper and your candy and stuff like that, and it was a magazine with a fully uncovered woman, and it was like, oh, I'm an American kid over there, and my cousins are like, they don't care, they're oblivious, they're staring at the birds and everything, and I'm like,
oh my god, there's nudity.
Oh my gosh, there's Nomi.
Yeah, I'm here. I've only been.
You're in the car, aren't you?
She's driving. Yeah.
I'm not in a car.
It sounds like you are.
Sure. Though. Where are you?
Not in a car.
Oh, okay. You're in a bus. You're a taxi.
I am.
Are you in a truck with Glenn Powell?
I am on
She's
the
searching
way.
for Glenn Powell.
You're on the way. Okay. Well, this stream isn't going to last much longer. It's called Brush Hour for a reason.
I was held up. I was held hostage.
I think I discovered something about you, Nomi.
What?
I think I figured out. I think I've tapped in to the mind of Nomi. Is that
a dangerous place?
I know. It's I wore gloves. So
whoa.
I was like, I think how Nomi plans her life is that if somebody says, hey, do you want to do something? You say yes, no matter where you're at in the world, no matter where you are with Carmen Sandiego, your answer is yes, and I'll figure out how to make it work. Versus
sounds about right, yeah.
Versus people like myself, where I consider where I'm at and think, I wonder how long it's going to take me to, I don't know, order my dinner. I wonder how long it's going to take me to get from here to there. I have to consider traffic. Let me tell somebody, I'll get back with you if I can. Where Nomi's just like, sure, we'll just make it work.
Yep.
Hey, I still showed up.
53 minutes late. That's pretty. It's pretty standard.
Fashionably Nomi.
Am I not wrong though, Nomi? Is that kind of how you think?
I think, therefore I am.
This is true.
That is true. Hi, Maria.
But that's actually, kind of spot on a little bit. It's like, okay, I love everybody that I'm surrounded with. I want to hang out. I also want to hang out with Tabitha, but I also want to hang out with this person I haven't seen in a while and catch up with him and, touch base on life. But I don't want to miss out. I want the best of both worlds.
She wants to live her Hannah Montana life, but the reality is, Nomi,
we ain't Hannah Montana.
We ain't Hannah Montana.
Right?
The best of both worlds is me pulling up to this Wendy's drive-thru so I can get some spicy chicken nuggets. Can I get an amen?
And you stopped for food on the way here.
I mean, that's on brand, though. Nomi's always showing up with food on streams. Okay. She always shows up with food on streams. Don't forget.
There's no way anybody could ever mistake Nomi for a white girl. Never.
Yep. I'm glad you said that.
I will say it.
I'm not pulling up to a Chili's because Chili's is a little too far for me. I'm actually maybe 2 blocks away from my house, so I'll be there for Murky Divers.
You're 2 blocks away from the house. On the
walks away.
way to be on a stream you promised to be on an hour ago.
Hey, I never promised. I said you know what? Yeah, you're right.
And then tried to change the story.
I'm actually sharing my screen so you can see what I've been up to.
What's Moo been working on? Oh, hang on.
I hope it shows. I hope it shows.
Let me see.
It's
Okay, I
very-
see eyes.
It's supposed to be Frost, but for some reason it doesn't
Yeah,
show.
okay, I was gonna go with a Gandalf. Okay, so
to
I'm
be
in.
fair, Frost is our Gandalf.
Right,
so-
I was going in the right direction. I like it. I like
I
it.
don't know why it's so.
I like it.
Coming across so strange, but yeah.
Tabitha looks on the magazine, and then all of a sudden, there was Nomi. That's right.
Right.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah, we
but,
mentioned magazines, and
you
she comes in.
I can't even say like in my defense. Well, technically, in my defense, our server that I was at took forever. Okay, like granted, yes, I used to work there, so everybody knows. Like, oh yeah, she usually just chills. She does her own thing. She's not in a rush and everything, which is true. I'm never in a rush. But at that moment, I kind of was in a rush because I wanted to make time to go hang out with you guys, be on the stream as soon as I could. And then, as soon as I paid,
What
I paid-
happened?
what happened is that someone at the table named Schmikey got around for us. I was like, what? He's like, yeah, dude, we're drinking up. I was like, I gotta go. He's like, take at least this drink with us. I was like, you already bought it. Okay. So I took the drink and then we're still chatting. He's like, I really gotta go. He's like, okay, well, have a good night. You could have left 20 minutes ago. I was like, that could have been fun. When I told you 25 minutes ago that I was leaving.
So, you know what's funny? The irony is that Nomi, I don't get, as long as I've known Nomi, she's not the kind of girl that really gives into peer pressure.
No.
But
doesn't.
apparently, based off of this conversation,
she kind of
did.
Yeah.
I get into peer pressure for people that, like, man, I haven't seen this person in such a long time. I will make my time for them. And then when they give me time that I didn't account for, it's like, dang, now I feel like a rude person.
So, but the thing is that you could have told me, no, you have plans.
I mean,
I didn't think my plans were gonna go. I didn't think my plans were gonna go as long as I intended it to be. I intended to be home.
That's so funny.
Full disclosure.
The sun's still out, but I still want to go out and do things.
Full disclosure, Tabitha messaged me while I was playing Marvel Rivals, like, "Hey, you want to be on this stream?" I was like, "Yeah, sure. Let me just finish the match," and then I finished it much earlier than I expected. So I was like, "Yeah, cool. I'll jump on."
That's the one thing, and that's one of the many things I told Nomi. We're working on it. Like this is what happens when we don't do couples therapy regularly. Nomi,
Yeah,
what
you
did
guys
what
need
did
more
I
couples
tell
therapy.
you? What did I tell you? You could always message me.
I know it's been 3 months since we've had therapy.
I mean,
Been a
you
while.
could have texted me that you were going to be late.
That would have been completely.
I think
fine.
I did text you that I was going to be late.
Maybe you didn't send it.
Did I? Did I not? I don't know.
Oh well, you
I don't
said.
know. I don't have your phone.
So you said at 6:30 that you were trying to get out, but the server wasn't paying attention. So I was like, well, it's okay. But I didn't realize it was going to then be well, that's actually more of an hour and a half later.
Well,
I mean,
look.
let's-
I'm turning on my PC right now. I just walked in. I avoided my nuggets, even though I want nuggets, but whatever.
But Nomi, like we're gonna be done here. Like this was supposed to just be for an hour. I was gonna get
Moss
ice cream.
can wait. Ice cream can wait.
Wow, you of all people told me ice cream can wait. The woman who, on her way to a stream, stopped for spicy nuggets.
Wanted to. Emphasis on wanted to.
Oh, wanted to. You didn't stop?
She just said she turns on her PC, so I'm assuming that she didn't.
Did you get your food, Nomi?
I think she's just logging into the computer.
Wow.
So.
Wow.
Wow.
Doesn't even stay on the line. Did you get did you go through the drive-through?
No, I didn't go.
Uh,
I didn't. I was gonna say I was, but I didn't.
okay.
Now I'm
You
looking
know what?
through
That means the world to me.
that. You're more important to me
Yeah.
than Wendy's
Yeah.
chicken nuggets. Yes, you
Yeah,
are.
because I know how much that means to you. So that
So what that means, Chad, is if you want to help Nomi not get, if you don't want hangry Nomi on stream,
Yeah.
get
buy
her
her
some
nuggets.
spicy
Oh,
nuggets.
you're gonna get more than hangry Nomi. You're gonna get spicy Nomi.
Oh,
'Cause
Maria says, what are we playing tonight?
Murky
Murky
divers.
Murky Divers! We do love us some Wendy's
Oh,
nuggets.
wait. Speaking of which, Smooth, do you still need me to get that for you? By the way.
Yes.
Cool.
All right, I will. Since my PC is turned on, I can do that.
Well,
my.
while you get your life together, I need to get myself ready for the Murky Divers because aren't we supposed to be playing like right now?
It's in an hour. I think
Wait,
Sebi's schedule.
Well,
Sebi's
Sebi's scheduled for 8 her time. We were supposed to play at 8 my and Maria's time.
Is it?
My
Is that a
Maria.
weird conundrum again, like last time?
I always make sure I put EST every time I text anybody. I don't even care if it's Maria and we live in the same time frame. I'm like,
Yeah. I
Uh-oh.
mean, you give me EST because that's the best estimation I can give because I don't know what Pacific is. I always have to Google it when people say
Oh,
like,
yeah.
"Hey, you could be on the stream at such and such Pacific." I'm like, "Do you have Eastern time by chance?"
All right, I'm gonna take away this picture, and this is a much nicer thing. I would like to alter this because I would like him to be a lot more deformed and hunchbacked, so that's something I'm gonna change. But in comparison, let's look, chat and everybody else, compared to my free sketch.
Yeah, I mean,
It's not. Hang on, let's see.
it's not terrible. No,
It's not
No.
terrible. I'm not. I just was a little bit. So this is again where it's like learning from the rough sketch and everything. Now, obviously, this is not something that I drew by hand. I can always work with that. Sometimes I do that just so I get my bearings, and then I'll alter it to make it more of what the style I'm wanting. Because I did think it'd be cooler if he had bigger nostrils like a bat versus the lion kind of, time
Yeah,
blindness is a disability, says risky for the
so is facial
It is.
blindness.
But first of all, hold on. I got some groundbreaking news. So, Smooth, I'm trying to send this game to you, but I got a message that says, due to regional price differences, the gift that you're trying to send cannot be sent to the recipient's region.
Is that because of the
Bum,
whole
bum.
Steam conundrum?
It could be because of the Steam conundrum. Yeah.
The Steam.
Can I add?
Well, I tell you what, while we're talking the business, chat, this has been the Brush Hour. I'm here with Smooth the DJ. We had an incredibly awesome conversation. Nomi's here, and
Cat golem.
we are going to be going to the seedy underbelly of the water. We're going underwater in a little
Yes.
bit. When I'm a little bit confused now. So subscribe to Dreaming Tabitha Gaming and follow us on Kick. And we'll be
Figure it
around.
out.
We're gonna figure it out. But thanks everybody for hanging out. Be sure to hit the like button on your way out. And
Leave a comment after the stream as well.
yes, leave
Bye,
a comment
guys.
after the
Follow us. Watch
stream.
Murky Divers. We're going live.
It's gonna be crazy. We're gonna probably yell at each other a lot. It's gonna be amazing.
That's gonna be great.